restrictions have rolled out across Western Australia to help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Health authorities are working to contain an Omicron outbreak in a remote Indigenous community.
The McGowan government has increased public health measures in 6 regions across Western Australia. Perth, Peel, the Southwest, Great Southern, Wheatbelt and Pilbara have all been elevated to Level 1 restrictions. Hospitality venues, gyms, places of worship and salons move back to the 2 square metre rule, and private household gatherings are capped at 30 people.
The 2 square metre rule is relatively modest, but we're at a different stage to the eastern states. The eastern states have been through 2 years of hell. We've been through 2 years of barely anything. So we're now going into it, but we're going into it with very, very high levels of vaccination.
WA has a first dose vaccination rate of more than 98%, and more than half of those eligible have received their 3rd dose.
The proof of vax will remain in place for quite a while, and it's one of the measures we use to get the 3rd dose vaccination rate up. So we've got to get that 3rd dose rate up.
The state recorded 213 local cases on Monday, Western Australia's 3rd consecutive day with local cases exceeding 200. There are more than 1,100 active cases across the state, with 2 people being treated for the virus in hospital. 2 cases reported over the weekend relate to a remote Indigenous community around 150 kilometres from the South Australian and Northern Territory border. The pair are believed to have entered WA from South Australia via back roads and have been fined. The Jameson community is in lockdown while contact tracing continues.
Police have locked down that community. The people who were positive are in quarantine, and police are monitoring the situation, and we have a testing regime in place.
March 3 was announced as the day Western Australia's borders would reopen for quarantine-free travel, but with less than 2 weeks' notice, Qantas is rushing to be ready in time.
We were planned, ready and organised to open up on the 5th of February. Now we're struggling to meet the 3rd of March because we have people on leave that we asked to take leave. It's a very disorderly opening, and we will get there. And it's great that finally our country's reunited. We're no longer North Korea and South Korea. We have one country again.
Comparing us to North Korea is a bit over the top. You know, a repressive dictatorship that murders hundreds of thousands of people compared with a successful democracy full of freedoms and best economy in the world. I think that's an unfair comparison.
Holly Edward-Smith, Sky News, Perth.